Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. Very happy to connect with you here again. So thank you for your presence, whether live or on the replay. And yeah, also very, very excited that Addison Ames is with us on the show for the first time. And I'm very excited because I watched some of his videos and message, and I really love it. It's how to say, he brings some very inspiring messages and empowering messages that help us to, at the same time, like embody our divinity and walk our ascension path with more ease, with more empowerment and more confidence, and at the same time, like live our life and make like he teaches how we can tap into or walk the highest path with the highest potential for us, and yeah, so live life fully, and at the same time bring in our light and sharing our light with the world. And really, I love that when we marry both, like the spirituality and the human aspects of us, or the divine aspect of us and the human aspects at the same time. And today's subject is love, the soul, and soul alignment. And yeah, so he will be discussing that. Also, he will be channeling Metatron to talk about the subject as well, and about Ascension. And then we will have also a Q&A where you can ask them your questions. And for that, as always, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. And if you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes, both on Zoom and on YouTube. And before we start, I would love to share with you a little bit about Addison. So he is an awakened teacher, speaker, healer, channel, thought leader, and writer. Addison has gone through transformational change and the awakening of self and soul. He now channels the divine in everyday life, addressing a range of topics from a high dimensional creator level. Addison is also a full body channel of Metatron, a high dimensional being specialized in ascension, spiritual development, and evolution for all creation, including Earth and humanity. He is also known as a healer using a range of modalities. And yeah, so that's Addison. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you with us today.
Monsef, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And it's a great honor to be here. I have to say, in front of this crowd, I'm a fan of Monsef. I try to come to his events when I can, and enjoy watching him when he does interviews himself on other shows. His story is really a lovely story, and he's a lovely person. So Monsef, thank you for having me on. It is a great joy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. And everyone, welcome today, or this afternoon, this evening, or this morning, wherever you may be. It's good to see some friendly faces and some new faces. I tend to smile a lot because I'm pretty happy, so I hope I don't scare anybody. I know, and sometimes in spiritual events, you show up and it's very, very quiet. And I honor the sacredness of all things, but I tend to have a little bit of fun and tend to be very happy. So I hope that's okay with everybody. So I'll talk a little bit about kind of the topics that Monsef and I had agreed to talk about today, which is love, kind of everybody's favorite topic, and the soul and soul alignment. And then I will channel Metatron, who, as Monsef said, is a high dimensional being focused or specialized in ascension for humanity and the earth and a bunch of other places and spaces too. And he's really, really cool. But let's talk about love first. So, you know, my perspective on love is a little bit different than some people. I think love is something that is really just beginning here on Earth. Metatron teaches this, and I teach this too, is I really think humanity is called to be love experts or specialists in love. And I think we're only now just really understanding what love is. And I teach courses on love and talk about love a lot. I consider myself a love expert. And so I really encourage people to think about whenever you say, I love something, I love you, or I love this, I love that, kind of have fun with it, make a game of it. And ask yourself each time that you say that, what do I really mean when I say I love something or I love you? I can say I love you all who are here on this call. And what that might mean is I honor you, I appreciate you, I enjoy you, I like you, it's nice to have you here. Love generally is kind of like a catch-all phrase that we use. And so I really encourage us as kind of students of life, and I think everybody here on this call would consider themselves a seeker, a learner, a student of life, is take time and pause every time you say love and ask yourself, what is my love made of? What is my love comprised of? You know, if you're familiar with like a compound substance, a compound energy, a compound fabrication, or sometimes even if you go to a compound pharmacy, they mix different things together. It means that it's a device or a thing that is strong because it's made of many things that come together to create a one thing. So just like if you're trying to create a compound substance, or I know Monsef was an engineer, you know, an engineer may say, I want to create a hull of an aircraft. Most of the aircraft that we travel in or fly in these days are made of compound substances. They're comprised of many, many things that you know of really well and that you press together, weave together to create something that is very strong, a one thing. And so really the way I see it, most of humanity and even us spiritual folks, we say, oh yeah, I love you, I love you, I love you. But we don't really think or analyze about what comprises or compounds our love. So I could even ask you guys now, take a moment and think about someone special in your life. Maybe you say, I love you to them. What is that love comprised of? When I work with people, you know, we take notes on this and spend an entire course figuring out what is my love made of. I can say I love Monsef, I can say I love Larry, and those might be different compound energies because they may be comprised of different things. I happen to know Larry over here. He's a good friend of mine. I know him really well, and I know Monsef kind of well. We're relatively new friends. So probably our love is a little bit of a different compound energy. But when we take time, just like an engineer would, to compound something to create a really strong thing, when we take time to analyze and place focus on what we press together to create our love, it strengthens our love and makes it higher quality. You know, we all use words. You know, probably most of you pay attention to what you say to people. You know, you try to be nice people, say nice things to people, uplift people. You know, love is something that if we really focus on it and invest in it, can be something even more powerful than what it is. And I hope it's okay, Monsef, I wanted to acknowledge Martine in the chat, who is saying love is a sensing, feeling, knowing of the sacred consciousness, a frequency, a resonance. So I would call that a definition of love. I think that's a really good definition and a high definition. But Martine took time to think about it and analyze it and to know it, probably part of her work. And so I really appreciate that. I think that's beautiful. So in our own world, in our own way of living, as Earth and humanity really moves into the fifth dimension, and probably all of you are aware of dimensional movement, the Earth and humanity into different frequency bands. The way I see it and what Metatron talks about is we're really already moving into the fifth dimension. We're kind of like edging into it. So if you think fifth dimension as something high, in the overall layers of our universal understandings, it's like getting there, but it's higher for us, but it's not like really, really high. There are higher things out there. But as we move into the fifth dimension, there's a lot more for us to go through. And the way I and even Metatron sees fifth dimension understandings really are things like this. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Think of these as fifth dimensional ways to be: love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, teachability, faith, hope, love, and again, love. Some of you may be familiar with that list, but the way I see it, and Metatron too, they'll probably talk about it in a little bit, is those are core fifth dimensional understandings. And so a lot of people ask me, and you guys probably talk about it, like, what does it mean to be a fifth dimensional human? What does a fifth dimensional world look like? What I posit and suggest, and love for you all to even give me feedback on or ask questions about, or think about it in your everyday life, is that a fifth dimensional understanding? Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, teachability, faith, hope, and love? To me, I think it is. And I think it's something that humanity's been really trying to figure out for thousands of years, really. And so, what I try to do in my own life is be an expert in love and really an expert in all those fifth dimensional understandings. Because as we all try to help Earth ascend and help humanity to be better, which is kind of in a way what Ascension is, if we can embody those kinds of things, and certainly sacred consciousness, divine consciousness, I see us all as divine beings. I really see no separation from the divine and us. If we can really embody that and know ourselves as that, then really we become and we move the Earth and humanity further into the fifth dimensional understanding. So I'll pause there, Monsef, if that's okay, and take any questions or comments if the group has any.
Yeah. Marcy, she said, for me, there are codes that I can download. And also, like, for me, I have a question about love, because, like, as we see, like, in the mainstream, like, sometimes love is attached to owning maybe a person or something, an experience, or maybe even work, or maybe a business. And also there is fear attached to that, and we call that love. So why sometimes we have that need to, maybe if we feel that we love something or someone, we want to own them?
Yeah, really wonderful question. So I mentioned before is really we don't quite understand love fully, or Earth and humanity, we don't quite get it. Martine beautifully said these are codes we download. Yeah, there's a lot of love codes out there. So, I encourage you, keep downloading love codes, talk to your guides, your soul, your higher self, divine, whoever you work with, say, give me the codes of love. Come on, give me the downloads. Give me the down low on love. Because humanity only knows what it's exposed to. And, all of us here are kind of leaders of the pack. So we get downloads, we get new frequencies, we get new octaves of love and understandings of ourselves and the world around us that we can kind of give to other people. And even we ourselves are really trying to understand what love is and what it means to people, because we're moving out of the low stuff and into the high stuff. So when I counsel people, I do a lot of relationship counseling, even premarital or pre-partnership counseling, is a lot of times love is a catch-all phrase because we don't understand it. Just like when you're trying to learn how to ride a bike, you don't really know, if a kid's trying to learn how to ride a bike, you don't know what everything does or how it works. You just know, I got to get on a bike and I got to ride it, right? And then after you've been riding the bike for a while, you understand the brakes, you understand how the mechanism works, and you can upgrade to new bikes and sport bikes and mountain bikes, all kinds of things. So really, we're kind of like on love training wheels, or on training wheels with love. That's why I really encourage the extreme importance of us understanding what love is. So when I counsel people, a lot of times in partnerships, love means hate. I don't know if you've ever, like a husband or a wife says to each other, yeah, I love you. But they're going through a real rough time. And really what that means is like, I'm trying, but the truth is I really hate you. And that's the truth about humanity, is there's rough times, rough days. And when you are trying, you may say love, but behind it, kind of the compounded energies behind it, maybe stress, maybe I got to, I have to, and maybe I'm trying, but I don't really want to do this right now because I'm working through some hard stuff. So, and love, I think for the masses on the earth right now, especially in relationships, like Monsef says, means I own you. And to me, when I hear that from people or see that in relationships, what I say is try to find a new definition for that. Instead of whenever you feel like love means ownership or possession, try love means I allow you. Love means I allow you. In relationships, friendships, whatever it may be, when we are allowed to be in our truth, to be our true self, unfiltered, unaided, hey, I'm with you, I'm real with you, I can be with you, we're allowed to be. Isn't that a great thing? That's like heaven, But when you feel like you are in a straitjacket and forced to be something that you don't want to be, which happens many times in relationships or in dating relationships, that's when the stranglehold kicks in, and it's really hard to find true love in that. So in answer to your kind of question and comment, Monsef, I would say, if it comes up, even in our own lives or in lives of others, you can say, try turning possession into I allow you. And it can be a very beautiful process. Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you. I know that. And Larry, or he wrote, how much of our capacity to love or not can be affected by karma?
Okay. So I'm connected with Metatron already. So I'm asking him if he wants me to answer this or if he wants to answer it, because sometimes he talks about karma. So he's saying he's going to let me talk a little bit about it. So the question was, how much of our ability to love in this life is affected by karma? Is that right? Yeah. So I would say sometimes quite a bit, and sometimes not at all. So here's the way that I see karma, is I see karma as an old idea. So some people are working through karma, but really it's kind of a discontinued concept. So yeah, some people in the world, maybe even some people on this call, have some stuff that we got to work through from other lives and other energies. But because of the way Ascension is working right now with the Earth, things, as we all know, are really speeding up. So a way to speed up Ascension is to say, hey, from a divine perspective, we're going to discontinue karma. And this concept may be something new that maybe you guys haven't heard, but it's kind of like when you discontinue something, like let's say you go to the store and you see on the shelf discontinued, like a little tag on the shelf, and there's a product above it. There's still a product there, but once they sell through or sell those products on the shelf, it's been discontinued, they don't refill it again. So the way I see karma is there's some people who have like stuff on the shelf, even though it's discontinued. But let's say after a couple of generations, karma is not going to be there anymore because we're moving into higher frequencies and we don't need all that low stuff to slow us down. That way, in the life that we're living now, like all of us here on this call, we work through whatever we need to work through, usually at the soul or higher self level in this life, and then can move on to whatever is next for us. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Addison. And yeah, also Larry, we would love to hear your feedback. Let's see. Martin, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi. Thank you for hosting this. It's lovely. I love Metatron. And my question has more to do around soul. And I'm having challenges with mine now. I feel some kind of disconnect. And I feel there's things that I'm doing like soul retrieval, I'm doing shadow work, but there seems to be some kind of recurring thing that I can't quite get at. And I was wondering if I could receive some guidance around that. Thank you.
For sure. So I'm going to ask you this, is it Martine? Is that right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this because I respect everyone's privacy, sovereignty, and choice. So can I give you some personalized feedback? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because this will be sharing some personal information in front of the group and whoever watches this. So I just want to be sure that's okay with you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So I'm going to check in with the divine and get a little bit of feedback about your soul. I'm also going to listen to your soul. So what I hear is, can I ask you a question? What do you think the hang up is?
I'm stumped, man. I've looked at this from different angles. I've tried to, I just don't know right now. I'm at a place where I'm stumped. At a couple of times I thought, oh, okay, that might be it. That might be it. But there still seems to be some kind of thing that feels not aligned with my desire to embody my Christ itself somehow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's the way I see kind of people and soul work. And what this is, Martine, is like soul work. When people try to understand themselves as their soul, and this may help you a little bit and everybody on the call, is I see you all, I see me, I see humanity as walking, talking souls. So like when you look in the mirror, and Martine, this could be a fun practice for you. Look in the mirror, look in your eyes and say, hi soul, I see you. You know, look at your full body in a full body mirror and say, look, that's my soul right there. It's kind of a fun game to play. We are walking, talking souls. Our souls are the essence of us, but really our souls are us. No separation from our soul. So you could ask yourself, Martine, what's blocking me from a physical level, and see if anything arises. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't. But when I do the mirror work, I get distracted because there's some shape shifting. All these other kind of faces show up, and I'm like, what's that? Who's that? Who's that? And I don't know why that happens. So I stopped doing that. I thought I didn't, I wasn't getting anything out of it. But I will definitely ask my body self. I do ask my body self. I work with my mind self, spirit self, body self, primal self, and ego. I'm always checking with them.
So what I see in your specific situation is this. Sometimes souls, what I call stall, S-T-A-L-L. It's a little bit like what we're describing. And so what I see is your soul is stalling. And here's why, because of divine timing. What do you think about that?
Well, we're in the now, buddy. Where this is now. It's now. A future now moment, a past now moment, it's now. So stalling, what does that mean to all intents and purposes if we're in the now?
Well, we're still in sequential development. So you got up this morning and then you agreed to be here at this time, and then tomorrow happens after today. So the now is certainly now, or really here. It's a geographic place and space. But still, our life experience has a sequential order to it. Ordering is very important.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I got mixed up with that, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Toggling back from the expanded multidimensional me to the human container, I get a bit of a wobble psychically. My psyche wobbles a bit here and there.
But
when
we talk about, go ahead.
My soul is stalling, like.
Yeah. But it's not like it's out of gas. So hang on for just a moment if you can. So let me continue. So in divine timing, maybe you've said this like, I met this person. The time was perfect. It was like divine timing. I met this person. Is sometimes the soul will stall, which isn't like you ran out of gas or the airplane was climbing too high and the engine stalled. It's like, hey, I'm like hanging out here, marking time, because there are some future events and future people that need to come into my life at just the right time in sequential order of events. So I don't see you at all in any kind of bad place or rough place. I see you more than anything in an integration space. So you're a multidimensional being. Your soul, going back to this idea of the now, your soul is here, there, and in between. We understand time here, and we actually move through time in a way in sequential order. Yet beyond time, our soul is what I call here, there, and in between, which means when our soul first starts to incarnate, wherever it may be, this earth, other places and spaces, other dimensions. And then when your soul decides to kind of go and do other things, it just depends on the person, just depends on the route. But if you think about the incarnation journey, certainly I think we're all infinite beings. but we have kind of like a time in which we incarnate, and for many, a time in which we incarnate here on Earth. So your soul is what I call a big soul, Martine. Some people say old soul. I don't use that term. I don't like it. I call it a big soul, which means your soul has been accumulating information through lots of different experiences, here, there, and in between, outside of what we call clock time, which is a sequential understanding, but there's lots of other times out there. And so you're integrating a lot of other energies, frequencies, and like what I would just say stuff. You're probably coming into a new time of knowing yourself. And you need all of this in order to do a number of things you're going to do in your life. And you need to kind of be where you are now and allow these other things to form in the now, but also in sequential events, so that when you move into a new understanding of yourself and the world around you, these other things can come into your life, and it really isn't divine perfection. What do you think about that? I'd love to hear your feedback.
Well, I'm just trying to integrate it all. So this sense of frustration and of not getting anywhere, and of really just wanting to get her done, is that sort of the ego sneaking in the back door and wanting to control? Am I doing like a spiritual bypass? Or because
I would say no, not at all.
I feel like something's really pushing me, but I'm hitting a wall at the same time. So like,
yeah, it's a common occurrence, especially in people like who are really very advanced. So what I would say is, from my perspective, it's not your ego, and you're not bypassing anything. You're doing exactly what you need to do. You're doing some hard work, which is what I would call integration work, that you kind of have to have that frustration or that tension to move through. But from what I see, from what I hear from your soul, you're going to move out of it. It may take you a little bit of time to move through it, but you're going to move out of it into a whole new kind of gear of your life, where you're not like feeling this anymore. Go ahead.
Do you have any indication in linear time what that would look like?
You mean like number of months or years?
Weeks?
Well, from what I hear, it may be a couple of years.
I was told a couple of times that my service work, my mission or whatever, would start in 2024. They can't start before then because people aren't ready. I don't know about that. I was also told that I'm a galactic architect. I have no idea what any of that means, or if it's even any useful for me in this human container at this time on this planet. I just don't know if that's relevant, and I should just simply let it go. So,
well, if I may suggest, take everything I say and put it through your own filter. You are your soul. You know yourself better than anybody. So I'm providing kind of like what I hear in my feedback. Is it looks like it may be about 2 years of kind of hard work, which may include service work. And you talk about, kind of integrating all this other knowledge of you. I would say follow your heart, follow your soul, and probably keep doing that, because it all kind of feeds into your service work. If I may say, you're here on Earth to work. You're here to do some hard work, some gleeful work, but you're here to kind of give. So I'd say service work is probably the story of the rest of your life at some level. And from what I see and hear, it gets easier and easier and easier, which is really good news.
Well, when I'm in the now, it's all easy. Mm-hmm. But like you say, we tend to move in linear sequential time in this body. But anyway, it's all fascinating. It's all fun. I really appreciate your outlook on spirituality. I feel the same. It has to be fun. But at the same time, there's a war on consciousness, and there's a lot of false frequencies and inorganic stuff there that, it's a tough slog transmuting that stuff, man. And sometimes I just want to stay under the covers.
I understand.
I don't want to get up. I just,
Yeah, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'd say most of the people on this call probably have days like that, Martine. I know I have days like that because, the way I see Earth is, we're all here to make it love and light. We're all here to lift it, but it's kind of a hard place. It's a dense place. As we move to lighter frequencies, lighter understandings of ourselves, it gets easier. I love what you said about how it's always easier in the now. We're really multidimensional beings. The way I see the human is we hold dimensions 1 through 12. I see us as 12 dimensional beings. And so we can kind of click our perspectives or our consciousness or our mind into different understandings. I see the dimensions as really different understandings of ourselves and the world around us. And within each of those different understandings is really a different perspective of time. So as we flip perspectives or dimensions, we have to kind of understand our sense of the divine human, kind of conglomerate all those dimensional understandings into who am I? Here's what I do. My name is Addison or Martine or Larry or whatever it is. So people need to know you like as a thing, as a body. So many times for us who know ourselves multidimensionally, it's a little hard because, who are we? How do we present ourselves? So we have to do the work of understanding ourselves multidimensionally, which is hard work, and then presenting in this more limited space as like a being or a person or personality. So I think you're doing great work, Martine, and thank you for your questions and participation today.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Martine. And yeah, also this, I just want to comment on that because this is something that maybe we all experience. And also it happens to me. There are times where you just feel like things that's used to flow, it just doesn't anymore. And no matter what I do, it doesn't change. And it's more like you said, an integration phase, preparation for a new phase, or maybe trying to see things differently. And it's like a call for me to try to express myself in a new way, in different way. So it's sometimes it takes time. It took me sometimes 3 years, others maybe a few months, but yeah, it's all a part of our evolution. So thank you, Addison. And we have a question from Susana from Madeira, Portugal. I saw a video that people incarnate with physical limitations, like wheelchair, are here in a mission of love. Do you agree? I've been seeing that in my life. The moment I accepted I am not my body, and that others' rejection was my own, my life started being more magical, and I started loving everything. But why do I fall back on unlovable so many times?
Beautiful question and comment. And thank you for that, that question and comment, Susanna. So, all right, so let's talk about the soul a little bit. So here's kind of the way I see our human experience is we think we're in bodies, and really what we are souls who through thought incarnate. And I see really everything as thought or think, and the great divine, the great God or source as the great thinker who really through the power of all his mind, that's kind of the way I see it at a level. And I know there's different ways to see it, but this is the way I'm going to present it now, is the soul is kind of like the idea of us. If you think of mind, thought, think, ideas, this is kind of a fun way to see it. Just like if you think about the manifestation process for us here in this existence, you come up with the idea. We all have minds, hearts, souls. We're all a multifaceted being. We come up with, through thought and think, ideas, and then they become form. We do stuff with them. It's kind of the way in the divine conceptual understanding of all that is the way that we come into form. So I see our soul as the idea of us from the mind of all, call it divine if you want, and thought and think, and then idea. like we're the ideas of us. So we each have a unique idea that makes sense in the very elaborate puzzle of Earth. We're all kind of here on Earth right now. I know some of you are probably in different places and spaces right now, but we're all basically here on the phone together on Earth. So Earth is a very significant puzzle that's trying to figure itself out. Earth is going through some rough times right now, trying to get better and better and better. So in the knock around of the human existence, there's lots of different kinds of souls that come here and have different ideas of what the human is going to look like, be like, etc. And so we all have different limitations. We all have different skill sets, different proclivities, different talents, all these kinds of things, different desires. And I think all of those come at the soul level. I think our soul holds our desires, our definitions, and sometimes even our destinies. I think our soul is our best guide. So I think the soul sometimes can be the thing or the idea that says, be in a wheelchair. Because in the overall puzzle of the human experience, in the densities that we're in now, trying to move through it and rise, we need lots of kind of difficulties in a way to make that diamond in the end that helps us to go into the higher frequencies and densities. So like for me, I mean, I'll be really, really honest with you. I have trouble losing weight sometimes. So I have to work really hard to watch my weight, exercise, and I'm kind of athletic. I like to go out and walk and all this kind of stuff. But I have to watch what I eat and I have to exercise and keep moving. Otherwise, I can kind of put on a little bit of weight. I don't like that. And I wish I was different. I wish my body was a little bit different. But unfortunately, that's what I got. So as I talk to myself and my soul, what I see is my soul is the one that engendered that in me, not so much genetics, but that's kind of the way my soul oriented me to be. So I think a lot of people have soul orientations, and that can kind of define how we are as a human. So I think it's really a soul decision, really. And the soul, again, is like a divine idea of us, the divine essence of us that makes us. That's my idea of it anyway. And I think that, people who have limitations, no matter what they are, have their own mission. So it could be that love is probably part of your mission, Susanna. Probably no matter what you do, love is kind of like what you need to focus on and what you need to kind of be and exhibit as in the world. But I would say it really just depends. You talk about falling back into being unlovable. It's part of the human condition. And it's also part of a person who is trying to break in more fully into the fifth dimension, working against lower dimensional understandings that just kind of are in the frequency field of this earth. So my encouragement is keep trying. It's hard. I deal with it. I have to be very, very patient with myself and other people. I work with people all the time. And so I think really it's kind of part of the earth environment and the frequency fields that we're in. So my encouragement to everybody on this call is try to be in love, like in the frequencies of love, and exhibit as love. Be in love and as love, and figure out what your love is, what it's comprised of. How do you build your love? What does my love mean whenever I say it? And become experts in love. I hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Addison. And also thank you, Susanna, for your question. So we have a comment from, Susanna, she writes, that makes so much sense. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
A comment from Tina. I see you as you, no judgment, no condemnation. Love is free without limits and conditions. Thank you, Tina. I love that. And also this inspired me of a question about giving love like freely, especially like in relationships, like in all kinds of relationships, whether romantic, family, friends, or within teams. When we come together to co-create something, and when there is no balance in the energy that we invest, or the exchange of energy, like we try to understand the others to see why they behave in a certain way. And we know that's now the origin. If someone is behaving in a way that's feels uncomfortable, it's the origin, it's trauma or old wounds. But how to maybe to keep embodying love unconditionally, while also honoring ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Very beautiful question. So here it goes back to the concept of what does love mean in that situation? Because what you're describing, and I've seen this many times, is it means I give it away. I give myself away, I give my life away, and I have no boundaries. So what you just described from a relational understanding equals that. So I give my life away, I give myself away, just take it, and I have no boundaries. So, and some people think that's love. A lot of people think that's love. But in my understanding, it is not love. It's probably disrespect of yourself. So love many times means I love you, mean, like Tina beautifully said, I see you, I respect you. I also see myself and I respect myself. And I have boundaries. Listen, we are infinite beings, we are divine beings, but we are embodied in a relatively limited environment. This place, this space, this earth kind of like squishes us into little human understandings. We're divine, we're infinite, but we're also kind of subject to the rules and regulations of this realm. So we have to protect ourselves, our energies, our assets, all of our stuff. So when I work with people, especially in premarital or pre-partnership counseling, we talk a lot about energetic boundaries. You know, what does love mean? And when do I say no, a very high no? And how do I say yes? And how do I know what to say yes to? So it's very important for people to understand love sometimes means no, and I need some distance, you know? So love can be, again, many different things. I love you. And what that means in this situation is you are stealing my energy. You're just destroying me. You know, it's kind of like what you described. You're eroding my sense of self. You're eroding my ability to be true to myself. So in this case, I love you, which means I care about you enough to talk to you about this and be really honest with you about it. I care enough about our relationship to be able to say, hold on, we need to address some serious stuff here. And 3, here's what I think we need to do. Energetic boundaries, stop stealing. Don't steal my stuff. Don't steal my energy. We're in a relationship, but it doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. Don't take everything from me. And then lastly, let's try to talk about this and come to a new understanding so that we can kind of heal whatever's going on. What do you think, Monsef? Does that speak to what you said?
Yeah, it does, absolutely. And also it's, how to say, it gives more clarity to others that's like that we want to co-create with them. We want to share our love with them, but it's something that happens both ways, and they know also their maybe responsibilities. So it's like they have more clarity how to at the same time express love toward us and respect us. And if they refuse, if they don't want to go that path, then like you said, sometimes we need to have distance with them. But yeah, also giving more clarity to others by expressing ourselves, by creating boundaries, it can really shift a lot in the relationship, because many times the pattern keeps happening because of lack of clarity in one of the sides or both.
Yeah, what I see many times in relationships is there's a lot of what I call stealing going on.
Yeah, so
I take your self-respect, I take your energy, I take your voice. Oh, you want to say that? I'll say it for you. I take your money. It happens a lot in relationships, yes, unfortunately. So, you know, where humanity is in love right now, again, going back to this encouragement of like, let's go deeper into love. Let's all become experts in love, is we're like kind of like kids on a playground who are, and let's say the playground is love. is we're like little kids who just like go out to the playground and just like go at it. You know, if you ever see the little kids playing, and sometimes they get along really well, and sometimes they throw sand into each other's face, sometimes they tackle, and like sometimes people get hurt. And then if you look at kids maybe older and older, is they have more regimented, planned, respectful sometimes play, where there are rules and regulations to the game, and there's more respect to kind of the understandings that are at play on the field of love. Is really, as we move into the fifth dimension, as we develop as divine, multidimensional, really 12-dimensional beings, I think we hold 1 through 12, is we're only now just beginning to become kind of experts in the playing field of love. So it's like relationships, people get married, they just go right into it. They get on the field and they start like banging the other kid's head, and the kid's crying, and you're like laughing. You know, you've seen this in relationships many times.
Right.
And so if you look around the world today, you know, maybe beyond the people on this call, that's what love looks like. So it's kind of up to us as leaders in the field to say, hey, we really understand love. We understand what divine love is. We embody it. And we kind of work in the respect of all, respect for ourselves, respect for all the other divine beings in the love thing, the love game. So I throw that out there as hopefully encouragement for all of us to be better at love.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes again to the concept of owning the other person. Like when we experience that stealing of energy, it's like the definition of what their definition of love. If you love me, it means that you will behave in a certain way, or it's me who will take decision only. It's not about just you being yourself and giving you space to be yourself, but it's more about just following what I want. And also it can happen in narcissistic relationships. So yeah, I really love how you describe that. And let's take another question. Ellen, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, thank you for taking me on. Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I have a question about my human journey, which has started now in a new chapter. And the chapter is I am resetting my nervous system on a very, very deep level. And I feel, well, really like, although I consider myself galactic, more and more in the body, and a lot of things, you know, really going on. And I'm grounded, and traumas are really releasing. And I would love to, you know, to get some information maybe from Metatron about that journey, and because maybe 1,000 people as well do it in this course as well. Is there a bigger picture for this, nervous in a human body, and in the nerve, so restoring and getting more grounded and having, as you just said, I love the idea with the boundaries. That's I'm learning now. So yeah, does that make sense?
Well, a couple of things, and what this might be a good time for Monsef, if you're okay with it, is we can bring Metatron in to channel. Yes. I can channel him for a little bit.
Yeah,
okay, absolutely.
Because Ellen likes Metatron, and I know Martine does too, and maybe some other folks do on the call. I would ask you, Ellen, could you kind of condense your question into something, maybe just a short question, so that Metatron can really address it?
Yeah, Metatron's take on the human nervous system, and maybe what is my soul's take on that, or my contribution to it, that sure. Would be.
Okay, great. And thank you, Ellen, for your question, and thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. Okay, Monsef, I'm going to ask Metatron to come in. I am a full body channel, so probably most of you are familiar with channels. I step back and I connect with Metatron really through mind. I connect to Metatron's mind, if you will. It's a little bit different than ours. The essence of Metatron, if you will, he comes in, he'll be speaking with Metatron. He'll talk for a while, and I think we'll address your question, Ellen, and then probably take questions from you all. So keep that in mind. If you'd like to ask him questions, please do. Monsef, he may ask you for I could do a time check with you at some point in time.
Yes.
And so you can just let him know how much time he has, okay?
Right.
Thank you, everybody. Just give me a minute to connect. In the knowing of yourself, you are. So when we, Metatron on high, who is indeed what we would call a divine collective, and this will help you all get to know us, I, we, Metatron, whatever you'd like to call us, is we are many things. We're many things. And as we look at you, divine humans, who really are not very much different than what we are, on high. We're very high. We're so high that we're outside of all of your human understandings. And we look down and we say, oh, look what they're doing there. What's going on? We are here working with this guy that you see before you and all of you. Some of you know us, and we do many things on Earth, in the Earth realm, because Earth matters. On a galactic scale, many of you know galactic, and on a all is scale, Earth and humanity matters. And we want you to know this so that when you all look in the mirror, be it mirror work or other, or talking to your spouse or friends or whatever it may be, please know you matter. You are matter for sure. You are souls, divine essences incarnate. You are. You are many things beyond the physical, yet you are. There is no one answer for everything. We have been listening to this conversation, and earlier you all talked about, well, I'm trying to understand this. Can I get one answer on this? Now, we can always give you one answer on this. He can try to give you one answer on it. But the truth is something that is multidimensional. Imagine a diamond, a beautiful diamond that is multifaceted. You look at the diamond, and the diamond is very different depending on how you look at it. It is multifaceted. The multifacetedness makes it a diamond. A beautiful diamond you would buy in a store is cut. It is cut in a certain way, in a certain shape, a certain form. And that form takes shape through multifacetedness. You all are multifaceted, which means when you try to look at a problem, a challenge, or something that you're moving through or working through, you're trying to understand it as one thing when it is usually not. Because you all are like diamonds, yes, in a way in the rough, but in a way already cut, because you are already multidimensional. So whenever you try to figure out what's going on in my life, I feel like things aren't moving. I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm frustrated. Well, the answer to your problem is usually not just one thing. So when you come to people like us and say, hey, Metatron, can you help me with this? I really need help. Can you get me out of it? It's like you got into an accident. You call Dad. Dad, God, Metatron, angels, whatever it may be. Get me out of this. Help, please. I don't like pain. I don't like frustration. Get me out. As we encourage you, well, by all means, call on us. We're here to help. That's why we're here. We're here working with Earth and humanity because it matters, and we are here to help you move and move and move and move and move and move and move. But no, sometimes when we come to you, there is not just one simple thing. Because you are, and 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 you are. So a simple encouragement from this diatribe is this. Think of yourself as something that is moving through things, needs to understand it in many different ways, and understand yourself in a way like a puzzle. Like the person earlier mentioned, I feel like I'm not moving. I feel like I'm not moving forward, whatever it is. we would encourage you, we know he gave you some ideas, but we'll give you some ideas too, is it may not be as long for you to get out. But if you can, ask yourself, your soul, whatever you got, your angels, whoever you work with, me, you know me, say, okay, what do I got to understand here? Some people say learn, and learn is really great, but sometimes you don't really need to learn everything, but you need to kind of like see it, like looking in the diamond and turning it and seeing the different perspectives therein. So whatever situation you may be in, say, situation, I see you as a diamond. I pick you up and I turn, and I turn, and I turn, and I turn, and I look at it. And what can I spy? What can I see as the diamond turns? And how can that help me to understand, yes, me, human, all of you, humans. Fun job, by the way, human. We call you beautiful because it is something that is truly beautiful. Something we don't want to do, by the way. Human's hard, but it's very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But as you turn the diamond of whatever you may be and may be in, may be moving through or learning through, say, how do I see this? How do I see me? And how do I understand my experience so that I can say, diamond, you're really pretty, but let me put you down so I can go and do something different. So in small words, this is a very big idea, because this is a very complex space and place that you are in, is look beyond the one and say, what are the different perspectives I can look at, understand, see, move through, not necessarily live through, and then be able to move to the next thing. I hope this helps. We'll keep teaching for a moment and then take your questions. We know that there is a question out there from dear Ellen, but we will say this. Is the human race is going somewhere. The human race is going somewhere. Now understand this. Imagine you're in a car on a family trip. And the guy driving the car, let's say dad, goes, well, here we go. Let's go. We're on this trip. It's going to be a great place. It's going to be a great space. We're going to have a great time. Buckle up, buckle up. Let's get some popcorn, let's get some treats. Let's turn on some tunes. Let's have a good time. Okay, great. Let's go. Everyone's in the car having a good time. Let's rock and roll. Let's go. Now, you may say at some point in time, hey, where are we going? Dad, where are we going? Now, if dad said, I don't know, where do you guys want to go? You might say, well, let's go here. Let's go there. There might be a fight. There might be a collision. There might be all kinds of things to break out because there's no direction. Are you with me? Are you all with me? Can someone say we're with you, Metatron, please?
We're with you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Want to make sure you didn't fall asleep because this is important stuff for you all to know. You are leaders in a program. Now, here's the program that you're part of. You may not know this, but you are moving the world to 12. If you're taking notes, we see some of you writing things down. Write down, we're moving to 12. We are moving to 12. All right, so Dad. Great, say it. Go ahead. We're moving to 12.
We are moving to 12.
Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So you guys are in a place and space that is really 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really where you are. And you are inching gradually into 5. So you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can say it out loud if you want, since you guys seem to want to participate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what you exercise all the time. Now, the guy before you, said you are multidimensional beings that hold 1 through 12. Technically, from our vantage point, you do, but you don't exercise it. Now, stay with us. This is slightly technical, but we think you will understand it. Technically, you are a being beyond your body. Some of you said, well, I don't identify with my body. We say, well, hold on, don't disidentify with your body because it is part of you. It may not be all of you, but listen, the gift of you, all of you who live this human existence, is you are multidimensional. You have different parts and pieces, and you are integrating a lot of them right now, and you are understanding yourselves in dimensions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what you kind of exercise in your mind, in your being every day. And as you are inching into 5, 5th dimension, when we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are dimensional references that we are making, but we are kind of dimensional experts. So we just call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we work. We're experts. And so when we drop in, we use kind of like vernacular that experts would use. So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you exercise, and 5 is kind of new to you. Like he was saying earlier, you don't really know what's going on. You're trying to learn. You're in training wheel mode, and you're trying to get better and better and better. Exercise your love, joy, peace, patience, all those other kinds of things that we would agree are fundamental, not everything, but fundamental fifth dimensional human understandings that have been around for a couple thousand years, because it's really been a couple of thousand years that you started to move into the fifth dimension, but just barely, you got a little ways to go. So keep exercising fifth dimensional understandings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's go back to the car analogy with Dad driving the car. So if you were in that car and Dad said, I don't know where I'm going, but let's go, let's have a good time. It would be fun for a while. Now stay with us. It would be fun for a while, but then after a while you would say, is there a destination? Are we going somewhere? Are we just like stopping at the bathroom, going to IHOP, going to this, that, and the other, and we're not sure where we're going? After a while you would say, where are we going? So humanity and Earth, and we get frustrated with you guys sometimes, and that's why we're here to help, is because you guys think you're there already. You think you're at the destination. Remember, the journey is the destination. So we know that line, we like it. You are on a journey as Earth and humanity, not to the fifth dimension. It is part of the ride, but you are going to bounce around and actually go 5 to 9, over to 12, and then bounce over to 13. Now, we said earlier, focus on 12, and that's really because the human is built to be a 12th dimensional human. 1 through 12 is kind of like your name. You can even say that or write it down if you'd like. 1 through 12 is my name.
1 to 12 is my name.
Beautiful. 1 through 12 is my name. Many of you know this. When you begin to identify things within yourselves, it awakens it. And Ellen asked about her nervous system. We'll address her question, dear one, and we thank you for being here. Is your nervous system is always upgrading. You, dear one, in specificity, are certainly galactic and are here on a mission. Now, each of your bodies are different energetically. Science knows and science knows. We love science. We encourage you all, don't bash science, but love science. Going back to the concept of love and that you guys need to become experts in love, please stop bashing things. Stop killing everybody in your life. Stop killing those who help you. Stop killing the ants on your path. Stop killing. Stop murdering ideas, people, or other. And love, please. Which, as he said earlier, very eloquently, I might say, is allow them to be. Allow them to be. We think a very practical and useful, and listen to this, we can say a lot of things to you that are very high, but the things that humans need, and yea, even you, are practical understandings that help you to be as you are highly meant to be. A lot of the goofy stuff up high, and we say that in jest, really, in joke. They're not goofy, but like listen to a lot of people out there that would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. They may be lower than you. Doesn't make them bad or different or anything like that. We encourage you to be practical with yourself and with those around you. Don't alienate those. Don't kill them. Don't say they're low vibrational. Let's kick them off the road. You're all divine, trying to find your way. First of all, help yourself. You are number one. And then be kind to those around you. Love them. So for you, dear Ellen, galactic one, yea, you are. As you know yourself galactic, what you are doing is soul integration. Write it down. Soul integration. So the nervous system upgrades that you are feeling is really this, and we hope this helps you. It is knowing yourself in higher, multitudinous ways. All right, now listen. All of you have brains. We think every single one of you have brains. Many times in the spiritual community, you go, oh no, mind. Oh, my mind is driving me crazy. Well, don't kill your mind, please. You need it. It is the taming of the mind that is. Many of you know Buddhist teachings and all this kind of thing. There are others out there, meditation, high mind, et cetera, et cetera. It is not the killing of the brain, of the mind. It is the taming and the honoring of the divine. again, we'll quote him because he is here. He's an easy target for us. He talked about all is mind. This is an understanding. It may not be exactly the way it is. All of you have your own understandings of divine, whatever it is. We say many times it's like a thinker. We don't really have a mind, but we have like an essence that knows. In the high, we don't have bodies. We don't work on the same principles you do. But as we drop down and work with you, we have to put on a human face and human understanding so we can hear you and understand you, and you can understand us. If we acted like us, in truth, with you, you would not even know we were here. We hope you understand this. We, Metatron on high, a collective, to be technical, of 16 beings, a family of beings who work as one. We know ourselves as separate, but not really. It's a collective. Many of you know collectives. We are a collective. We drop down primarily through an archangel understanding. So some of you know us as an archangel, and that's true, nothing different about it. It's just that that is a face that we use with humanity that you can kind of understand and interface with and kind of take the guidance from us. So those of you that work with us or want to work with us, you can work with us as an archangel for sure, or as Metatron, a collective of 16 beings, a family of beings on high. We work with the divine. We help in all the drop downs of all the different universes and places and spaces. And we want humanity to know that you are going to the 12th dimension and even the 13th dimension. But really, as a technical understanding of yourself, you hold dimensions 1 through 12. So we'll pause there and take your first question, please.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And is it still from Ellen or from another? I'm not sure if you answered her question, but anyway.
We'll address Ellen. So yes. What you are feeling as a nervous system upgrade is soul integration of other lives, existences, and concepts of you as a soul. As that comes into your understanding, which you could say in your brain, in your mind, in the way you like understand yourself, is your body, your being, your physiology, as they call it in science, responds. So yes, you are experiencing these nervous system changes, fluctuations, and variations, for sure. The symptom is the nervous system, but the source is soul integration. Ellen, does this answer your question? Please let us know.
Yes, very much. Thank you from my heart, from my body, from my nervous system. I'm delighted, actually.
Yes, we honor you.
Thank you, Metatron.
Of course. Anything else?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ellen.
Oh.
And yeah, also thank you, Metatron. We have a question from Edina. I wrote this once, and I'm curious if you agree or disagree as to the extent of its truth. Our journeys are equally all difficult in their own way across all ages, peoples, lives, and times. It is all relative, and we are all on our course of our personal karmic journeys.
Mm-hmm. So we think what you're saying is we all have our own story to tell. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, but she mentioned it's a difficult story.
Okay, all right, we'll talk about this for a moment. So what we'll say with this is the soul is a storyteller. And many of you probably know the soul. You may not be intimately connected with it, but we encourage you, get with your soul, talk with your soul. Your soul is your best guide. Many of you have what we call people, which are like your beings that you work with. Could be ascended masters, angels, guides, soul, higher self, whatever it is. Get with your soul. Your soul is your best guide. As you understand yourself, you are. As the soul journeys, it tells a story. Your soul is telling a story with you and through you. You are a walking, talking soul, as he said. That's his line, not ours, but we will borrow it for a second. Thank you. And as you understand yourself, you know that the earth is moving through difficult terrain. Now listen, you guys talk about ascension all the time. We say we're ascension specialists. From where we sit, that's not really what we do. We call ourselves fixers, which means the earth is a place in space, and even the universe partially that you are in has hit a pothole a long time ago and kind of forgot itself and fell a little lower in the scheme of all. So what we're trying to do in what you call ascension is right the wrong of the past pothole, which kind of made you hit your head and forget who you are. That's why you all talk about forgetfulness so much, because you are understanding at a level that you have forgotten the truth of you. Now, Earth has two. So the overall storytelling of Earth, as many call it a being, is that it is moving through this, oh my God, I hit my head and I forgot. And many of you may know this. You hit your head on something, you go, oh my God, I got to sit down for a while. I may have a concussion. Can someone get me a cold rag for my head? Oh my gosh, I hit my head really hard. And it may take you a while to get your equilibrium and return to stasis, which is, or homeostasis, as many of you call it, which is, I know who I am. Get it? So Earth is only now coming to a place where it goes, okay, whew, that was rough. I'm kind of like feeling like I'm kind of okay now, but that was a really rough, almost concussion. You could say it's a concussion, yeah. So the soul drops into this place in space that you call Earth in a time understanding, which is actually, it holds a few different times. Many of you know clock time, which is a locked in sequential understanding of time where you are forced perspective to see it as clock time. But there's other times at stake here, is that in this place, this space, you all are, along with Earth and the part of the universe that you are in, you are trying to overcome the concussion that you have experienced. So as souls drop in, they must participate in the overall righting or homeostasis of the accident that happened from the Orion War, which some of you know, which was a galactic battle, Ellen, you may know it, from a long time ago. So as the soul drops in, and to answer the young lady's question is this, it is in a way, by forced perspective, needing to tell stories which have difficulty and agony sometimes. That's why we say we call you all beautiful beings, because we admire your gumption to live in a place in space, yes, beautiful, divine for sure, but fixing itself, and we are here to help, we are fixers from an accident that happened a long time ago where you forgot who you are. So the stories that the soul is in a way forced to tell here, sometimes, many times, but not always, are difficult or have difficulties in it, because as you all move through frequencies and mind modes and forms, you have to begin to, little by little, disregard the hard and bring in the new. And that is a transition or a dovetailing that it has to happen over a long time in order for you guys to get to a place where you can rise much quicker and faster. Ultimately to go 4, 5, 9, 12, 13. That's your dimensional pathway. 4, 5, which is kind of like where you are now, 3, 4, 5. 9, 12, and 13. And you only get that way, like if you imagine a toothpaste tube, as you so beautifully call it, tube, great word by the way, is you force the toothpaste out of the tube, but it comes out bit by bit. And so you are forcing out the old or the dense bit by bit in order for you to get new. Does this answer your question, dear one?
Yes, sure, yes.
So the difficulties that are part of your story are part of this land, part of this world. As you move into new places, you've got to move through the old in order to discard it. Just like if you have garbage in your bin, you don't just leave it there and go, I'm not doing it anymore. It's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. It's still there, and it may start to smell after a while. Rats may come in, roaches may come in and say, well, there's garbage there. Oh, no, it's not there. The way it is in your place in space, many times, is you've got to take the garbage out. Because even though you may not see it, you may not regard it, it may still be there. So sometimes the difficulties that you work through, and we are here to help along with many others, is to say, okay, let's get through this, turn the diamond, look at it, get what you need to get at the soul level, because the divine is all collecting information from this. Divine is all understanding all of this, even though it's not great. And so you've got to be able to take out the trash by getting through it and addressing it in whatever form you need to, usually at the soul level, take the garbage out and keep moving. Just like when you clean the house, you call it spring cleaning sometimes. After you've taken the time to spend a week or a weekend cleaning your house, it feels good. You're like, man, I did it. Yes, the house is clean. Because you addressed the things, the old that needs to go, and got new. Always be cleaning, 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 cleaning. What else? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you first. So it's from Tina. Is someone stealing our energy, or are we choosing to not have boundaries? From what I understand, we are creators of our reality. I agree it happens so much, but is this because the soul has things to heal to move into 5D?
Well, it's a difficult question to ask because there were a few questions there. So what we will say, dear Tina, is this: yes and no. So everyone has a soul mission, a soul destiny, a soul transport, which means all the things that you got to move through in your life. So it really just depends. Each of you are like autonomous robots. You have a soul and it comes in here and says, I got to do these things. Like you have desires, you have proclivities and skills. And you say, I really want to do this. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a speaker. I want to host a show, whatever it may be. Monsef, dear one, he left a job and started to do something different because probably he was soul led. And the soul said, do this, please. And Monsef saw it as a desire, like I got to do something different. I got to do this. And he did it. Good job. You were listening to the soul and you did what the soul said. So he and you and you and you and you and you all have different souls saying, gonna do this, please. Please do this. Do this. Okay. So some people have their energy stolen. Some people give it away. It just depends. We would say it is dependent on the individual. There's a lot of different soul profiles out there. We hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. And yeah, also because I think we have only 8 minutes left, I would love if you can tell us about the 3 live masterclasses that you are offering. It's the first class, it's a class on love, understand and improve how you love. The second one, what does your soul say? A soul work masterclass. And the third one, angelic healing workshop with archangels Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. And the link for that, I invite everyone to visit that page. It's yourdivineuniqueness.com/Addison, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Addison, ADDISON. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live event page, later on the replay page. And also the link is on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes, both on Zoom and YouTube. So yeah, I would love if you can tell us about these classes and what our audience can expect from working with you.
For sure. So this is still Metatron here. So the only class that we are teaching is the first one you mentioned, which is all about love. So we encourage you all to come, bring your families, bring your husbands, your wives, your children, bring everybody, anybody that you love, bring to this masterclass, please. Class is about 2 hours long, and he, Addison, as he calls himself, will speak a little bit and then bring us in, and then we'll talk to you the rest of the time. We'll talk about love and a bunch of other things that will help you. We'll take questions, all that kind of thing. We hope you come. Please come. We're a lot of fun. The other 2 classes we will not participate in. We'll probably be hovering around, but it will be him, the guy that you see before you, that will be doing those. And if there's nothing else from us, we will leave and let him talk now. Would you like for us to do anything else, Monsef?
No, so just I want to thank you very much for the guidance you offered us today.
Yes. We'll leave you with a few thoughts.
Yes.
If you think you know love, that you are loved, that you exist in love, we encourage you, please think and try a little harder. Now, many of you are in the flow, and many of you know. Our encouragement is, even to those of you that know, there are many advanced ones here, galactic ones and other. We encourage you, as he said earlier, we taught him the line actually, become experts in love. What does an expert do? If you know an expert in the field, he studies, he has curricula, he has practicum, he knows it, he lives it, he breathes it, he's an expert in the field. Many of you know respected experts in the field of something, history, Greek mythology, whatever it may be. If you all really kind of care about love, we encourage you say, I'm going to become an expert in the field. Because the key thing that, one, keeps you all from killing yourselves, you guys know this, is anti-love. If you can become experts in love and really say, yeah, I've always got more to learn, that's a good sign of an expert, actually, is they're experts in the field for sure. They're recognized, let's say, world round. But they're always learning, teaching, accumulating understandings, ideas, frequencies, codes, downloads, whatever it may be. Become experts in love. And Metatron's leaving. Give me just a second to disconnect from the mind of Metatron. Metatron, thank you. I appreciate you. And this is Addison now. This is me. Thank you all for engaging with Metatron. Really appreciate you. And I think the question was about the classes. Is that right, Monsef?
Yeah, the two other classes, yes.
Yeah, so Metatron will be the one really teaching the class on love, which I think would be a lot of fun. I've done this with some other folks, and it's been really successful and very rewarding. I think can benefit you greatly. And then the second class or course is What Does Your Soul Say? So we'll go deeper into the understanding of the soul, and I'll work with all the participants on an individual basis to help them get in touch with their soul more, hear their soul, and to be more in soul alignment. So I'll talk and I'll teach about what, I think soul alignment is, and help give you all some very practical and useful understandings and energies to help you be able to come into more soul alignment. And so we'll talk about the soul and understand ourselves as the soul. It's a really enriching and highly beneficial class. And then the last one is Archangelic Healing. And so many of you know the archangels and probably work with the archangels. I do too, and I love them. And so we'll be talking about the archangels, angels, and other kind of creator beings, which include seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, powers, and others. And so we'll talk about that. We'll kind of share our own stories. And then we'll bring in the four primary archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. And we'll actually kind of work with them, and they will work with us and whoever comes on healing. And there'll be a group healing, energy and frequency healing from the archangels. And it'll be a good chance for you to actually commune with them, talk with them, get to know them a little bit more, all with the idea of kind of, closening and improving our relationships with the archangels and the angels, and understanding more about all those, I call them all creator beings, all the way up from even elementals, all the way up to seraphim and cherubim and Elohim. Elohai, Elohim, some of you know Elohai, Elohim, which are very high creator Elohim beings. We'll talk about those and maybe even talk with them in that class. And I love working with the archangels, and I think you'll find this class also really rewarding, healing, and enjoyable. So I hope you'll sign up, and would love to see you all there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Addison.
Sure.
For offering these 3 master classes. And like I said in the beginning of the call, really love your message and your teaching. It's it's really powerful, and it really helps us to navigate those, because sometimes we go through phases in our life. There is integration phase, there is flowing phase, there is growing, and each one needs some different approach. And when we connect to our soul, when we have this connect to our essence, our own wisdom and inner strength, we are able to navigate these changes. And also when we can receive, also with the healing, archangel healing that we are offering, can really support our path. So yeah, very, very grateful to you, Addison, for offering these classes. And yeah, everyone, I invite you to sign up to those classes. And again, the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/Addison, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Addison, ADDISON. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live event page, later on the replay page, and also the link on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes on YouTube and Zoom. And yeah, we have some feedback like from Kay. I really appreciate the clarity from so much from this presentation. Deep gratitude to Addison and Metatron.
Thank you.
And thank you. And Susanna, thank you so much. Thank you, Susanna. Martin, many thanks, many blessings to all of those in this container. Thank you, Martin. Ellen, many thanks, deep gratitude and blessings to all, to myself, Addison, and Metatron, and team. Thank you, Ellen.
It's great.
Beautiful. Yeah, so Addison, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. Yeah, for everything you shared, for the time you spent with us. It was really, really wonderful call, very inspiring, very powerful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Monsef, for having me on, and thank you all who came. Really appreciate you. You know, it's a beautiful and sacred thing, life. And one of my favorite things to do as I get emotional is say, you can do it. I encourage you. Enjoy life and live it to its fullest. Thanks, everybody.
I love this. Thank you. Thank you again. And also, everyone, thank you so much for co-creating with us this experience today, for sharing your energies, for your feedback, your questions. Yeah, so with that, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.